Let's start with the concept of overwhelm. There is only so much information we can process at a time. So we are amazing in our capacity, and we actually take in so much information on an unconscious level, right? But with our conscious mind, this part of us that we are aware of with our self-talk, which we're all very aware of, it can really only take in a very small percentage of information at a time. And when we feel like there is too much information around us, this is when we say we are overwhelmed. So firstly, I want to point out that overwhelm is actually a feeling. It is not who you are or the only thing that you are in that moment, because that's something too that overwhelm can feel. It can feel like it is the only thing you can do is feel overwhelmed in that moment, even though it's not a nice feeling. Let's just remember that since overwhelm is just a feeling, what we can do is we can, just like any emotion or any feeling, we can decide to listen, pay attention to what that feeling and what that emotion wants us to know. So it can be fleeting. It can be something that once we acknowledge it, then we seek to understand it. And just by being with it, and I'm going to give you some processes on how to fully understand what's overwhelming you, so that just like any emotion, once you acknowledge it, then once you deeply understand it, you know then what action you can take. And by taking action, it puts movement back in your body, and it creates movement in your life. Okay, so movement in your thoughts, in your feelings, movement in particular with your actions that you take creates movement in your life. Here is the process. A mind map. Mind maps are brilliant because they give you the big picture and the details at the same time. Okay, they give you the big picture and the details of your life at the same time. Now, this is just an example. Okay, this is just me scribbling here this afternoon. Yes, I've used my iPad, so if you wondered why it's looking that way. So what we do is you put your life in the middle. I like to use love hearts. That's just my style. And then I've broken up the different parts of my life. Okay, and then from there, off those bigger chunks, so the idea is you've got the purple hearts there, then off that, so I think we understand what a mind map is. If we don't, then this is why I'll explain it this way, is then from the bigger chunks, you get into the smaller details and the smaller chunks that relate to the bigger piece of information, the bigger chunk, okay? What I did was I actually did family, and then I wrote the pieces off that. Then I think, right, home takes up a lot of my thinking and experience in the world, so I'm going to put home as a chunk that I need to focus on. And then off that, what are all the things that I think about when it comes to my home? Okay? Friends and community, health, and so forth. So are there any questions so far with the concept of a mind map? So what we've done, just to show the progress of what I've been talking about, these things here in your mind map are a combination of your to-dos, your have-tos, and your want-tos, your intention for this year. So in my self-love plan, it's free, so totally up to you. You don't need to use it, but I find it can be a cool tool if you would like to use it. It's completely free. And Laura, if she's still there, could put the link to that. Otherwise, I'll get you the link. But right now, if you wanted to start doing this, just get a pen and paper, at least A4 size. And in the planner, it's got a page for your 3-year mission. So you can do a brainstorm of what you want to achieve in 3 years with all of your intentions. And then we're looking at what do you want to achieve in 1 year's time. Now, again, you might be thinking, oh, I haven't even thought of goals yet because I'm too overwhelmed. Well, the truth is, if one is overwhelmed and they're feeling like they're not setting goals because they're overwhelmed with daily life, well, then you absolutely want to do a mind map of all the things you're having to deal with on a day-to-day basis that's overwhelming you right now. Yeah? So if you're thinking goals, Lauren, how is that related to overwhelm? Because I'm just too overwhelmed to set goals. Well, then there's a step for you, and that is do a mind map on all the current things for you that you feel are bombarding you on a day-to-day basis, and empty all of that out. Yay, thanks, Laura. Thanks for that share. Hi, Michelle. And then the second part is to go and do your goals. All right, putting it into some time frames and really setting these goals, because when we don't set goals, we will just keep repeating the patterns of what we've been doing in the past. And a lot of us here, if not all of us, want to improve our lives. We want to be better. We want to grow. We want to experience more. Is to do it in the mind map form, because you can go into much greater detail than what I have here. I actually had quite a small space to write, so this is why you want to work with at least an A4 size. I also love A3, but it's getting the big picture chunks of information and the details at the same time.